Mystery 1. How did Jesus pick them and why only 12? When Jesus began his ministry, he gathered followers everywhere. As he performed miracles and preached, people were anxious to see him. Jesus called some of the most faithful followers to leave their livelihoods behind and follow him. From the time Jesus visited John the Baptist up until his ascension into heaven, these faithful followers were witnesses of him. Who were these men? Let's find out. In John 1, two of John the Baptist's disciples, John and Andrew, heard John the Baptist testifying of Jesus and then witnessed Jesus being baptized. The next day, John and Andrew saw Jesus again and followed him down a road. Jesus noticed them following him and turned back to speak to them. He asked what they wanted, but they weren't really sure. They had heard John the Baptist call Jesus the Lamb of God and tell everyone that he was the whole reason for his ministry. Jesus invited Andrew and John to come with him to the town where he was staying. The men ended up spending that afternoon together and many more. This began Jesus' gathering of the eventual 12. Jesus actually had many more followers in his early ministry, but many deserted him. Jesus taught things that were new and different from old Jewish laws, and this caused a lot of controversy. Many people didn't understand Jesus' teachings and left him rather than learn what he really meant. The 12 disciples were Jesus' most faithful followers. Jesus gathered them from all walks of life, telling them to leave their livelihoods behind to follow him. Not everyone listened to Jesus' calling, though, like the young rich man in Mark 10, who went away sad. The disciples that listened to Jesus included men from all different backgrounds, education levels, and families. They were all Jewish, but that may be the only thing they had in common in some cases. Jesus called 4 fishermen, including Simon Peter. He called Matthew a tax collector. Jesus also called Simon a zealot, who was a revolutionary person, likely involved in violent protests. We don't know a lot about the backgrounds of some of the others. Although the life histories of these men are vague, we do know they made a huge historical impact. After Jesus ascended into heaven, they began ministry journeys to teach others throughout the world. All the disciples died violent deaths as martyrs, except John, who lived into his 90s.